How many video games do we have in our collection? We're going to be answering that question today, but before we do, we're going to take a look at each system individually, go through some of the rare and expensive games we have for each console, also tell you the total we have game-wise for that system, and then at the very end we'll add everything up and see where we're at. I feel like I should mention a couple things before we jump into it. We are in the United States, so we are collecting North American games, but we do have some imports. We also have a lot of factory sealed games as well as complete copies, so sometimes we'll have two of the same game. I am counting those. We also have a lot of variants in the collection, so there might be 2 or 3 copies of the same game, but they're all going to be different versions. Another thing that I probably should mention is that some of the games in my collection are box only or box and manual only, but this only goes for NES, Super Nintendo, N64, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and then a couple random ones like Atari Jaguar. So I have gone through the painstaking task of taking out all those box only ones like this Panic Restaurant here. So a couple highlights from my NES collection here would be Stack Up, which I found at a garage sale, believe it or not, a complete in-box Little Samson, and also a Pac-Man prototype. We only collect complete in-box, and we currently have 262 NES games. Earthbound isn't really that rare of a game, but it is expensive, which is why I've put it in here, along with Hurricanes and Pocky and Rocky 2, which are very rare games. And then we have the Star Fox Super Weekend cartridge, which honestly is probably one of the rarest and most expensive games in my entire collection. Not counting the box-only stuff, we have 290 Super Nintendo games. The Nintendo 64 is my #1 favorite console of all time, favorite to collect for, and we do have a complete in-box collection. The full set consists of 296 individual titles, but we do have some variations, we have some sealed stuff, so the number is a little bit higher, but these are some of the highlights here. We have Stunt Racer and Super Bowling, which are both incredibly hard to find. The Rampage 2 is a variant that comes in a big box, and it's supposed to have a little keychain plush, which unfortunately we do not have. And of course, on the right we have the extremely rare Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut, which was a Blockbuster exclusive. Including all the variants and sealed games and other random stuff, we are at a total of 341 N64 games. And there's some really weird stuff too. It's like they think that teenage boys play video games or something. Nintendo Gamecube is the set that I'm currently focusing the most on trying to complete, and it just so happens that most of the really rare or expensive games are these weird double packs and big box stuff. So right here we have the Super Monkey Ball 2 pack, which is the least rare of all of them. Then we have the Sonic Adventure 2 pack, which is pretty tough to find, and then we have a factory sealed big box copy of Pokemon Box Ruby and Sapphire, which is arguably the most rare GameCube game there is. I'm still missing the Sonic and Monkey Ball Duo pack, which comes in a box similar to these, which that one's super, super rare. We are currently sitting at a total of 521 GameCube games. The Sega Genesis is another console that I'm not super focused on getting games for, but I got very lucky and have gotten quite a few expensive ones knocked off the list already. Here we have Skeleton Crew, Mega Turrican, and then Crusader of Senti, which I just looked up for the first time in a long time, and turns out it's one of the most expensive games in my entire collection. Crazy. We're currently at 139 Genesis games. Sega Saturn is one of those consoles where even the common filler titles average $10 to $20, so honestly we can make an entire video about expensive Saturn games, but I just picked out a few here. We have Magic Knight Rayearth, Panzer Dragoon Saga, Saturn Bomberman, and Burning Rangers. I have plenty of other games that are in that $100 to $300 range, but these are the most expensive ones in my collection. We currently have 114 Sega Saturn games. For the original PlayStation, there are a ton of RPGs which tend to be on the more expensive side. So here we have picked out The Misadventures of Tron Bonne, Clock Tower 2, Persona 2, and Tail Concerto. These are the most expensive PS1 games I have, but like I said, there are plenty of others. At the time of filming, we have a total of 549 PS1 games. For the PlayStation 2, most of the really, really expensive games happen to be survival horror, but there are a lot of RPGs as well that can get up there in price. So here I've picked out Kuon, Rule of Rose, Blood Will Tell, and Haunting Ground. The PS2 has one of the largest libraries of games, at least in North America, and we are currently at 875 PS2 games. What the hell is that? Ew! The original Xbox is kind of weird to collect for. because there's quite a few games, but there really isn't that much that's very, very expensive. So I pulled out what I could here. We have Stubbs the Zombie, Futurama, and then the Halo Triple Pack, which appears to not be very expensive, but in all my years of looking, I've only ever seen this one in person. So in my opinion, it's pretty freaking rare. We are currently sitting at 403 original Xbox games. We have so many games in the collection that if I tried to sit here and go through every single console, this video would be like an hour long. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to add everything up myself off camera, of course not counting the empty boxes that I have, and then we're going to see how many games we actually have in our collection. So we can't possibly go through everything. Like I said, it would take way, way too long, but I have added everything up, and I'm going to tell you guys what the total is here in just a second. But I wanted to mention a couple things before we do. Like I said, I'm not including any empty boxes. To add a game into my total, it had to have at least the game, and I also wanted to mention that we only collect complete in box, so every disc game that we own has the case and the manual, and every cartridge game that we own, assuming it originally comes with one, has the original box. Some are missing manuals, but most of them have them. Some of my collection is also packed away right now, so you didn't see any Sega Master System, any original DS, but I do collect for those systems. They're just boxed up, like I said. We don't own any bootleg games in this collection, but I will be counting prototypes, variants, all sorts of stuff like that, but I'm not counting demo discs either. So, after adding everything up, guys, we have a total of 6,268 total games. So what I'm going to do is put in some footage here and just overlay the totals that we have for each system, so in case you're curious, you can kind of see what the collection is made up from. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.